Thank you, Ms Murray, and it's a real pleasure to have you in the chair today overseeing this vitally important debate. I would like to thank the Minister for taking the time to hear the concerns of the constituents of Tatton, as well as those of my neighbouring constituency, Weaver Vale, about Winnington Bridge and the urgent need for it to be upgraded. I am very grateful to the Honourable Member for Weaver Vale for being here today to support this debate and this campaign. This is the new Battle of Winnington Bridge. The original one, often described as the last battle of the Civil War, took place on the 19th of August 1659, resulting in a win for the government. But today, I hope to elicit a win for the constituents of Tatton and the surrounding areas, and that there won't be need for much of a battle. Rather, the government will see common sense and common purpose and support the levelling up bid to allow the upgrade and improvements to this bridge. As history points out, Winnington Bridge that crosses the River Weaver has been a vital piece of infrastructure for many a year and remains to be so. In fact, its importance only grows. It carries the A533 trunk road between Northwich and Barnton, and yet this major route is served only by a single-lane swing bridge. To cross the bridge, 3 lanes of traffic is funnelled down into 1 lane, which then allows you to cross the bridge single file one way. I'm going to repeat that, as most people can't quite believe it. That's 3 lanes funnelled into 1 for a single file crossing. The current bridge was built in 1908 to enable passage from one side of the river to the other and to allow use of the waterway below, allowing for growth of the area's developing chemical industry. This crossing was deemed to be so important in developing both the Cheshire and Northwich economy, a newfangled swing bridge was constructed, one of the early electronically operated ones. I'm sure the Minister will agree that a lot has changed since 1908, and what was deemed state-of-the-art back then, in an area surrounded by fields with only a few houses, is far, far from what is needed in 2022, and certainly doesn't cater for HGV lorries and mass movement of cars, which now serve the thriving business area and local communities, and which keeps increasing in size in this most sought-after part of the country. This bridge has needed replacing for many years, and now the Levelling Up agenda and the Levelling Up Fund allows this issue to be addressed. The local council of Cheshire West and Chester have identified Winnington Bridge as the single most important piece of transport infrastructure for the area and have bid for the Levelling Up Fund. The deadline for bids was meant to be tomorrow, but I do hear that that deadline has now been extended. Please let the record show that I am pledging my support for this bid, one the government needs to support and get behind too. The project will include a new road bridge across the River Weaver, the conversion of the existing single-track bridge as a cycle-pedestrian-only option, and the undertaking of 3-junction improvement between the bridge and Northwich Town Centre to create a corridor scheme to fully address the congestion issues, and create a cycle link from Barnton and Anderton through to Northwich Town Centre amenities and the National Cycle Network Route 5, so serving the residents of the villages of Barnton, Anderton with Marbury, Cumberbatch and Little Lee. The current bridge is an unsuitable crossing now and in the long term. The bridge is a prime crossing point for residents, the number of which in the last 10 years has grown exponentially due to the 1,200 new homes built around the bridge. And this is only set to grow further, with an extra 473 new build homes having been approved or already having existing valid planning permission. And on top of that, another 1,555 proposed on the Winnington work sites. That is thousands of new residents in the local area. These new residents will be using the bridge every day to get to work, to get to school, and to get to the local amenities on either side of the bridge. The increase in cars on the road and commuters into these new houses will only worsen the long queues that are already there and increase the emissions in the area. So bad is the annual wear and tear on the bridge that approximately £1 to £2 million is spent on it every 5 years to retain it in its current state. And such has been the traffic use of late, and which only keeps increasing, that in the summer of 2020, essential bridge maintenance was required to replace deteriorating parts of the 110-year-old bridge to ensure it can continue to operate, costing approximately £980,000, and proposing an HGV traffic ban on the bridge to reduce the load is not feasible, as it serves as a vital artery for a very successful industrial estate in Barnton. We need a permanent solution, and now. For not only is maintaining the bridge costly, but also disruptive. A constituent has reported congestion at peak times is ridiculous. The condition of local roads due to construction traffic is of lunar standards. We are constantly battling poorly planned roadworks, and trying to see a doctor whilst you're actually ill is impossible. I cannot emphasise enough how much this has affected local people on so many levels, and it's only getting worse as more houses are built without a second thought to the existing community. The knock-on effects of repeated closures for repairs causes significant congestion and delays on top of those already long delays. As worried residents write to me, they fear for their lives, and lives can be lost due to the extra time emergency services take in order to navigate around these road closures. Quote, I was on Battle Bridge, as it is now known, when an ambulance was trying to get through to Barnton. This was totally impossible because of the three-way permanent lights at the foot of Sut Hill. This was blocked completely. My constituents are worried, and rightly so, about this impact on local life. I do hope the Minister will agree to speak with the whole Levelling Up team to ensure they are fully aware with the multitude of problems associated with this out-of-date, totally unsuitable, unworkable old bridge. I will indeed give way.
I thank my honourable friend and neighbour for giving way, and I certainly commend my honourable friend for the excellent and impassioned speech that she's given. And this is great. Here's a great example of how Parliament works at its best. Two neighbouring parliamentarians don't necessarily share each other's political points of view most of the time, but on this it's an excellent scheme. It is an excellent scheme which both of us back very, very strongly. And this bridge, as my honourable neighbour says, will unlock so many opportunities. Not only will it improve connectivity, and I've been stuck, and I know the honourable member has been stuck in that traffic for many hours, as well as our residents. But it's a pathway to building more houses, over 1,900 houses. It will draw in investment from Tata Chemicals Europe, around £40 million, safeguarding jobs in the future, construction jobs. I think it's nearly 400 construction jobs. I mean, this is probably one of the best levelling up applications that the ministers and the department will receive, and it's got cross-party support, and it's something that just got to happen, and it genuinely will level up people and infrastructure. Thank you.
I completely agree with what my honourable neighbour had to say there. And talking about that extra congestion, something else that we need to bear in mind with the current cost of living crisis and the rising fuel prices, people are anxious that they are left sitting in a car, engine ticking over, going nowhere for long periods of time, which is costly, wasteful and bad for the environment. Something has to be done, and building a two-lane road bridge with the adjacent Grade 2 listed bridge converted into a pedestrian cycle bridge is the best option, as evidenced by the feasibility study carried out by Cheshire West and Chester Council. Other vital projects hinge on the Winnington Bridge, as my neighbour alluded to, and that's the Winnington Works in Northwich. It's proposed to redevelop the Brown site there, that's the old Tata Chemical building, for a mixed-use development comprising of approximately 1,500 new homes, employment opportunity, public open space, and a primary school, along with a range of other community facilities. This is just the type of project that we want to see the government delivering in our area, one that provides a holistic approach to housing. However, this project relies on crossing the bridge with heavy building material too to get this development going, and demolition equipment and supplies, and therefore we can't build it And we can't let people live in it because they can't get in and out of their new homes. My constituents are worried, and rightly so, about further development where they live without this vital piece of infrastructure. Now, I'm sure the developer will produce snazzy plans and glossy magazines for a terrific new housing estate. But they can't build new roads or bridges that will be needed to get to and from those homes. Northwich and the surrounding areas have contributed its fair share of new housing developments, and there will be many more, but we can't have them without these innovative solutions to these transport issues we face. And there we have it. Broken promises from developers for previous officials leading to this infrastructure crisis. There are so many benefits to this project being done that everybody at all sides, as my honourable neighbour said from the House, are supporting it. The Council, who estimate the work could create an extra 16 million a year for Northwich in additional spend in the local shops, services, and create 300 new jobs, with up to 2,000 more being created during the construction phase. The Canals and River Trust would be delighted too with the bridge upgraded. Property developers will have a chance to invest in the local areas. Residents will have improved roads, cycle lanes, safer routes for the emergency service and public health service, and cleaner air and less congestion. The opening of this corridor would change the daily lives of those in Anderton and Barnton and the surrounding areas of Northwich and deliver part of the government's levelling up agenda. So I will finish by saying, if the government is truly determined to deliver the levelling up agenda to all parts of the country, then there can be no better place to invest and deliver this levelling up agenda than in the construction of a new Winnington bridge. I ask the government, therefore, to support this bid, just as I am doing.